And a good morning to you all, and welcome to the starting lineup. Great to have you with us on an absolutely beautiful Tuesday in the Ozarks. Ned Reynolds joined by
Scott Puryear.
And for the next 2 hours, we're right here talking sports and whatever. Like to hear from you at 417-447-1021. 447-1021. That's both phone and text. Starting lineup brought to you by Play It Again Sports, Fremont Shopping Center, Battlefield and Fremont Springfield. Great deals for you, folks. You can't go wrong at Play It Again Sports. They'll have everything. Excuse me a sec. By Swing Right Golf, which is located at the south end of Campbell Avenue, a little bit north of Nixa, and you get that golf swing honed just right. That's Swing Right Golf. By Citizens Bank of Rogersville with two locales. One is adjacent to Highland Springs, and the other is in Rogersville itself. And by Marshfield Chevrolet, the I-44 exit, a couple of left turns, and you're right there at Marshfield Chevrolet. Big show coming up today. What's on the agenda?
It is, yeah. We say big show. Please, football, get here. Hurry up.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, World Cup's gone. We got MLB. We've got the silly season of football with all the conference media days. The Bears are down in the Arlington. They're at Frisco, aren't they, for this? Where's their Conference USA? Dallas?
I believe it's in Dallas. Yeah.
I just completely forgot to look up where they are. I know they've got their Conference USA football preseason meetings and press conferences starting today. SEC started yesterday down in Tampa. But it's just kind of that time where the anticipation is great. And I thought last night, I had not attended the Chiefs Happy Hour event out at the Alamo last night. Before this, you said it was about the 10th. How many years have they done this?
This is the third time, I believe, at Alamo.
Okay,
overall, yeah, we started at the very first one was at the Knights of Columbus Hall over on West Grand, and then moved it to various locations in Alamo.
Very nice event. Of course, the Midwest family put it on. The Cave, the home network of the Chiefs. Mitch Holthus down here. Danan Hughes, the old man Ned up there. You guys did a great job with your Q&A and talking Mike Holmes, of course, with the Cave. So, yeah, it was a fun event, and I had to leave a little bit early kind of when it got into the questioning from the fans, but listening to Mitch and Danan, some good information there.
They have it well documented as to what they're going to do. I didn't know this about Holthus, but when the camp opens, which the rookies and free agents arrive on this Friday, he's up there. He's every day he is with that team.
Wow.
Doesn't go home. I don't know how that works out domestically, but it is what it is, and he is with that team constantly.
And I'm going to admit, I had never met Mitch face-to-face until last night.
He's a good guy.
Introduced myself and listen to him. The things that he comes up with statistically are pretty phenomenal, and things that because I read a lot about it to try to stay up on it, but he's got things that, on 3rd and 6, we were 28th in the league at yards allowed per pass play, and just really dives into it. But I thought, you threw a question to me. You thought I had a microphone in my hand, and it was actually a beer bottle, but I guess it looked like a microphone.
I swear, folks, I'm probably, 20, 25 yards away.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at Puryear up on the mezzanine area, and he's got an instrument in his hand that I thought was a microphone.
It was actually a Miller Lite, and but I was standing up there with Art because I got there a little late and wanted to kind of hear the questioning, but I thought it was interesting. I asked him about Rashee Rice and their level of confidence right now in him actually being able to get through a year with no controversy, no injuries, no nothing. And Danan had some pretty pointed thoughts there. And I thought the one that was really very cogent was like as a father, if you're sitting there with your kids, he said he has 5 kids, I think, Danan?
And grandkids.
And grandkids, yeah. And, as a dad, you'll sit there sometimes when they screw up and you look at them and go, are you done? Mm-hmm. And that was Danan's point with Rashee. Okay, you've had one thing after another, between the traffic incident down in his hometown of Dallas and now, are you done? They said, smoking weed after he had surgery or testing positive, and are you done?
The chemical in that showed up in a blood test. Mm-hmm.
But, it's a great point. Mitch kind of added to that with, at some point, you've got to kind of separate yourself from your friends,
exactly.
That you grew up with. And Danan talked about being a New Jersey guy, I guess. And
he is northern New Jersey. Now, New Jersey's not a very big state, but it's long as opposed to wide. And he's Bayonne, which is just outside New York City, and I'm from the southern part of the state.
So you guys just don't get along, right? Are you allowed to get along with him or not?
Interestingly enough, yeah, of course.
Which side's tougher, North or South Jersey?
North.
North?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's it. Our big city's Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And theirs is New York.
So you guys are the country club while they're the...
We're the country, period. We're the farmers.
Okay. Well, and Danan said, he told stories about when he would go back as a player to his home area in North New Jersey, and all his boys were there, his buddies from high school, and he was the show, and he would come back, and he's a guy that had money and had money available to spend, and when that comes out, the radar goes up on people.
Absolutely.
And that's the kind of thing, and then I thought Mitch, a great point on Rice too, is that the contested catch. He said that Rashee's got to be the guy that, can get open and catch the ball in traffic. He said because they've spent so much time scheming up things for him offensively where he knows it's coming his way, but can he get open on his own when Patrick's in trouble and pull that ball in and get a first down? So
it's a matter of concentration on his part, and once he gets his mindset to where he needs to be to play, he's probably a pretty good athlete. That's the problem, though. Does he have that kind of mindset?
Well, and he has to step up because, I think Mitch made the point that the Thornton kid, Tyreek Thornton, is the old Tyquan Thornton, excuse me, is the most experienced receiver in the room, and he's in his fifth year, and he's the oldest receiver, and you got Travis Kelce, old man tight end, and stuff. Rice has to step up because Xavier Worthy took a little bit of a step back, I think, last year, and a lot of that was when Travis Kelce decided to mow him over, and was the opener, literally the first game of the
I think
it's
first game it was.
Yeah, and so it's a big year, and Patrick needs that weapon. He needs that young, and this is kind of the year for him to step up. But a great event all in all, and I thought it was a fun time. Did you have a good time?
Oh, very good time.
Yeah.
Always do.
Yeah,
always do.
Our lineup today, 7:30, Paige Grisham with the Missouri State Bears Fund Athletic Development Group over there. Go ahead and join us to talk about their 40th Annual Sneaker Soiree coming up on August 1st. Always a fun event. Did you attend the first one? Did I hear you say that?
Say it again.
Did you attend the first Sneaker
The first
Soiree?
one, which was in Hammond Center. They didn't call it the Sneaker Soiree.
Well, yeah, it's more from what to what?
It has gone from the garage sale,
okay,
which it was, the Southwest Missouri's largest garage sale. Went from that, and then I don't really think it had an official name as such, but Sneaker Soiree came in, I guess maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago, somewhere around there.
Seems like it was the athletic auction for a while, just kind of
just the athletic auction.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but Paige will join us at 7:30 to talk about that. That is the major fundraiser for the Bears Fund and Missouri State Athletics. So we'll get details on that coming up on August 1st.
Mm-hmm.
8 o'clock, we're going to meet Liam Keating. He is the new news leader sports writer. Kudos to the old alma mater there because we thought they were just kind of going to let it die off and have no sports coverage. And of course, they let it fester for about a year almost here. But they have their guy. His name's Liam Keating. Comes to Springfield from the Topeka Capital Journal. It's basically a Major League Baseball trade of Wyatt Wheeler for Liam Keating.
Wheeler, yeah. And the player to be named.
And that was Abby, I think, that she went that way. But, Liam Keating going to join us at 8 o'clock. And he's a young guy. He's covered high schools. He's covered Division II Washburn Athletics, which is one of the better D2 programs all around the country. So we'll meet him at 8 o'clock. And then T-Bear at 8:30, Trenton Berry of RacingDirt.com to join us to catch up on all the auto racing news and whatnot. I think this week is Brickyard, Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Indeed.
Well, they'll be back to the traditional Sunday afternoon racing instead of the evening races we've had here of late. But T-Bear at 8:30. So mentioned Bears Conference USA Football Media Days. We'll have a lot more on that tomorrow with what comes out. I'm sure we'll have preseason polls and all conference teams and whatnot coming from that. The SEC, as we mentioned, theirs is going on down in Tampa, and we've got 2 or 3 stories from that we'll get to. Basketball Bears get a big commitment for 2027. He is a 6'4" or 6'5" shooting guard out of Belleville West in Illinois, just on the other side of St. Louis, named J'Dyn Lloyd. I think it's J'Dyn. It's J''DYN. J'Dyn.
Got to be J'Dyn.
J'Dyn, yeah, just a different way of spelling J'Dyn, but a good get. He's a 3-star by Rivals, rated the number 3 player in Illinois by that service, number 46 shooting guard overall nationally. It's the first commit for the 2027 class for Cuonzo Martin. The Bears beat out some familiar names here that had offered him. Sam Houston State, Kennesaw State, Middle Tennessee, all fellow league members for the Bears, and then Illinois State, Valpo, and Drake from the Missouri Valley had offered him. So, and I'll tell you, this is the kind of get that if you're a Bears fan that you like to see them getting, because, it seems like, they've kind of done the bargain bin deep dive, a lot of cases where it's been a JUCO guy or a guy from, a very much lower level program or a D2 or something. This is a guy they went head to head with and got him.
I'm old school, so while the transfer portal does exist and it can be a help, I'm not going to deny that. But the fact is, I'd prefer to see them go high school and get the young kids coming in and nurture them along. And it's a new rule now, coming in with 5 years, so we'll see what happens.
Well, and that will lend itself, I think, more to the development. But the thing with Cuonzo and all these guys, my buddy Jay Havens down at Northeastern State, and you bring in a guy out of high school, you make them much better, they get better, and then all of a sudden here come the other teams trying to poach them, and you've got to – you've got to have the funds in place now in this warped world we live in to try to keep your guy that you developed, or you hope that guy has a sense of loyalty for the opportunity you gave them.
Well, there's also a new facet involved, and that's 1 year.
Yeah.
You can go in there, and then if you transfer again a second year, you're sitting out.
If that passes, yeah.
Oh, I think it will.
Well, the problem with that is your two biggest voices in college sports, the SEC and the Big Ten, they don't like it.
No,
and
of course not.
Matter of fact, we'll talk about it here coming up, but in the SEC, Greg Sankey confirmed yesterday in his opening statements that this is not just an idle threat or leverage for the SEC. They may very well, break away and form their own conference and league and all that. And if that happens, it just completely wrecks college football.
It does. The whole thing goes right out the window. We don't have any total identification anymore, and it just would ruin everything. I don't think it's an idle threat. No, they probably are thinking, but how seriously? That's the question.
And it's a threat. I mean, if they pull away, they know that the leverage is that college football fans will go, what are we going to watch today? Are we going to watch the SEC, or are we going to watch everybody else? And, of course, their argument about being it just means more and being the best league has lost some luster with what they have not done and what the Big Ten has done there in the end. And I don't know if they do that, they got to do it with everything. It's not just, it'd be football, obviously, would be the main driver of that, but your men's, women's basketball and everything else, and all the way down to your tennis and golf and all those.
But the thing about it is, though, Scott, it skews the schedule, and it, as you just pointed out, disrupts the public's attention. I hope they're not, don't discount what the public has and the influence that it has in circumstances like this, because it is enormous. That's how you exist, by public attention and by identification with the players and the teams and so forth and so on. And when that evaporates, and it could, if that were to be the case, where they go off and form their own league, then you've got problems.
Well, while we're talking SEC, a couple other things. Yesterday was Mizzou's day on the podium. Eli Drinkowitz did confirm that Ahmad Hardy has been cleared to resume workouts to get ready to play this year. Of course, he was shot in the leg at a local bar back home in Mississippi back in May when he went home, and that's good news because that kid is a beast. And, with a combination of Hardy and Jamal Roberts, Mizzou's really excited about their offense. They've got a new OC. He was at Michigan last year, but he's a guy that also developed Drake North Carolina. So Austin Simmons comes in. He's the Ole Miss transfer, was their starter before Chambliss got there and kind of Wally pipped him when he got the opportunity. But the one note offensively from Mizzou that's going to be something to watch, their right tackle, projected starter, has re-injured himself, and they don't know about his availability this year. And that's a problem because Austin Simmons is a left-handed quarterback. Mm-hmm. So that's his blind side. But Drinkowitz said that there's guys that they have a lot of confidence in that can either move over there or the guys that are working hard in practice to step up. Could be the best offensive team Mizzou's had under Drink. Their defense, they lost a lot of guys over there, so we'll see how they reload on that side. A couple other notes from the SEC Media Days. The 9-game SEC, the addition of the 9th game was a hot topic, and a lot of the coaches were asked about it. The SEC added a 9th conference game because to help their strength of schedule. You know, they were all playing like Georgia Southern or somebody.
Like Mizzou's opener, Pine Bluff.
Yeah, but I mean, remember that, and a lot of them did it like in November. Mm-hmm. Like the first week in November, it was almost like, okay, this is a game, but a chance for us to heal up and get well and get some momentum going. And it's going to basically wipe out that November game for most of them. But I saw where Mizzou, that basically meant adding in a trip to Mississippi State as their extra game there from what they'd been playing. And so that's no easy place to play, Starkville.
Starkville?
Yeah.
Heavens, no, it's not.
And you know, is it, in your thoughts before we go to break here, is it going to water down the SEC even further? Because that league, they pretty much just take turns beating each other.
It's a little difficult to say, but the talent level, I think, is there to justify something like that. And it'll be different having the 9th game in there. I wonder if the Bears are going to be affected because I think Auburn is on the schedule somewhere, maybe next year or the year after that. And Missouri.
Yeah, they're going to have room for those, let's pay somebody to come in and beat them up games. They're just going to have one less. Mm-hmm. And that'll be for teams like Missouri State and others, those are payday games.
They go
a long way toward meeting your budget, balancing your budget for the year. One other note out of Tampa for the SEC Media Days, new Kentucky coach Will Stein made headlines when somebody asked him why they think they're going to be so much more improved this year. He said, I think because of me. So there you go. Yeah.
Nothing like a little confidence.
Yeah, former OC at Oregon coming in, first head coaching job. He'll do some things. Oregon's been really good, and he'll bring those to Kentucky this season. One other college football note before we go to break and then come back and talk baseball. Michigan announces that Ward Manuel, their AD for the past decade, will step down at the end of the calendar year. And, of course, Michigan had all kinds of issues with Sharon Moore. They had to basically fire him after an inappropriate relationship internally in the athletic offices. And I just thought it was mind-boggling seeing the numbers that Michigan spent $12 million on that internal investigation.
$12 million.
How many schools is that their entire athletic budget for the year? And here's Michigan saying, hey, go find out what's wrong with our program. Isn't that kind of course, with the AD, he's going to, they're trying to find out if it's under the AD's control, but you would think internally you'd be able to bring in some people and sit your coaches and people down and say, okay, what's going on here, wouldn't you?
You would certainly think so, especially with an organization that's so well-heeled as Michigan is and such a veteran organization. Yeah, you'd think that would be the case.
You and I are available for half that. If somebody wants to pay us $6 million to come in and find out what's wrong with your business, give us a call. We'll hang around for a couple months and get to the bottom of it.
About $6.
$6 would do it, too. Will that buy you a drink at your other office or not?
No, I'd take a little more than that.
A little bit. It depends on if it's happy hour or not. So anyway, let's take a break, come back and talk baseball.
This is the starting lineup. Back in a second. Great having you with us on the starting lineup. Welcome back. Ned Reynolds along with
Scott Puryear.
All right, we have the starting five.
Continue with our starting five, and you and I were just getting ready to talk about it in the break and ran out of time, but I had a friend send me a message about Bears basketball this winter. Interesting to find out that all upper bowl people who had tickets are being moved to the lower bowl.
The upper decks for both the men and the women will not be open.
Other things that he pointed out, student tickets will no longer be in the bleachers. They will be moving to a permanent chairback seat section. The band is moving from the bleachers back to where they used to be in the southwest corner, which is that the media wedge area, or is that the other side?
No, it's the other side.
Other side, okay, okay. And this is all designed, and I exactly know why, and you know why, is when you watch a TV game and you see all those empty seats, not a good look. They want to put butts in seats, and when you're on there, and if you see butts in seats, you get a little bit of FOMO. It's like, oh, well, maybe we should go. But when you see giant, vast expanses of 50 seats open here and open there, not quite that FOMO.
Of course, I contend, Scott, that we shouldn't even be looking for that at all. I don't think the home games ought to be on TV. We've been through that before. They need to be blacked out. But over and above all that, it's disturbing to me that they have to shut down the upper deck.
That's where you and your buddies sit.
My little press box, yeah.
Will you have access, or will that? No. Okay. Where's the new Ned Roost going to be?
Very good question. I don't know.
Yeah. If you want Ned to come, you know what? We could auction you off by game.
No, I don't think that's a good idea.
If you want Ned Reynolds to sit with you at a Bears game, we'll auction that off each home game, and we'll donate to charity.
Better yet, have the auction have Ned Reynolds not sit with you.
Yeah. They're going to pay for it. So, baseball last night. I will not stay up and watch the West Coast Cardinal games to the end. I will be reading the report the next morning. And last night, the Cardinals blew one. They lose 3-2 in the opener in Anaheim against the Angels. Riley O'Brien, who tied for the NL saves lead, blew one last night. A walk-off hit by pitch wins it for the Angels.
That's what it was. The bases were loaded. Of course, the first batter was out, and that was a strikeout. That was Mike Trout. Yeah. He gets struck out to begin the bottom of the ninth. It's 2-1. Cardinals have the lead. Then I believe it's a walk, and then a hit batter. I don't know what's happened to O'Brien, but those two guys get on with one out, and then there's a double that tied up the ballgame that almost left the ballpark. And so it's tied 2-2. Bases get loaded, and he hits a batter.
I wonder if there's any residual PTSD for O'Brien after he hit Junior Caminero, because, he looked distraught. Yeah, because that's the last thing you want to do in an all-star game is hit one of the bright young guys on the hand, and thankfully, Caminero was okay, but if you saw O'Brien's reaction, it was like, oh.
Oh, yeah. And O'Brien stayed with him while the X-ray reports were read, and I thought that was very, very much a sportsmanlike thing to do.
Cards got a good start from Kyle Leahy, gave up 1 run and 3 hits in his 6 innings. That's been a very pleasant surprise and been very consistent for him. Maybe even their most consistent guy right now going out to the mound because Dustin May got lit up his last start. But Cards lead 1-0. Nathan Church, RBI single. Scored Jordan Walker, who had doubled. They had another run, had a bobble in that inning to make it 2-0. Joe Adele hit a home run to get it back to 2-1, and then you had the drama in the ninth.
I think Adele was the batter who was hit, too.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, absolutely. So Game 2 tonight, Matthew Liberatore against Walbert Urena. As Ned said yesterday, this was a series that the Cardinals should have gone in thinking we can take all 3 or 2 out of 3 against one of the worst teams in the league, but they dropped the opener. Series finishes up tomorrow. Then they come on to play the D-backs in a makeup game on Thursday. Reds in over the weekend. Did watch the Royals last night. They win 4-3 on a walk-off squeeze bunt. Mm-hmm. Nick Lofton lays down a perfect bunt toward the first baseman. Josh Rojas runs home. Rojas had one heck of a play at third base in the inning before. Did you see that?
Did not, no.
It was one of those fully extended dives to his right that saved extra bases, right over the bag and came up with a great play there.
Well, according to the reports, and I didn't see the game, the Giants played very poor defense in the ninth inning.
They did. They did not play well, and they get the win on the bunt by Lofton to bring him home. Alex Lang blows a save in the top of the inning, 2-run homer to Willie Adames, who's been kind of hot and cold for the Giants all year. That tied it at 3-3. And then the other note of this, Salvi Perez hit his 316th career homer. He is now within 1 of George Brett for the all-time franchise record.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, Michael Wacha was good in this one. Royals have won 3 or 4 now since the All-Star break, since the resumption of the second half. Tonight, Tyler Mahle and Luinder Avila in the matchup at the K. A couple other MLB notes. Nolan Arenado, congratulations. He did get hit number 2,000 yesterday, a 5th inning double. That's puts him in lofty status there. And let's see, 35-year-old third baseman became one of 6 major leaguers with at least 2,000 hits, 350 homers, and 10 gold gloves. Who are the others?
Clemente would be one of them.
No.
Wrong.
I'll save you the agony. Ken Griffey Jr., Willie Mays, Mike Schmidt, Johnny Bench, and Al Kaline.
They're all great players.
Yeah, and he's one of 6 active players now with at least 2,000 hits. Freddie Freeman, Jose Altuve. I didn't realize he was at 2,000 hits.
He's been around a long time.
Yeah, Andrew McCutchen. I couldn't tell you where McCutchen is now.
He signed a minor league contract with the Astros.
Is okay. Paul Goldschmidt and Manny Machado. Didn't realize Machado was already at 2,000. He's been around a lot longer than I thought too. So. A couple other MLB notes. Red Sox win their 14th straight game, 6-5 over the Orioles. They'll go for tying a franchise record that has stood since 1946 if they beat the O's tonight. Phillies beat the Dodgers 10-7 in their first game of that matchup between the NL Powers as Christopher Sanchez improves to 12-4. Wasn't particularly sharp, but got it done in a 10-7 win. And the Miz was back on the mound for the Brewers last night, first time since July 7. You can tell they're going to kind of baby him, and with good reason, the rest of the way. He only pitched 4 innings, struck out 6 on 65 pitches in an 8-3 home win over the Mets that now gives the Brewers the best record in baseball.
All right, and I know they haven't. I think it's 8. It's 11.5. I think the Cardinals are behind. So really, they're essentially out of the running. But in regards to the lead that the Brewers have, it's how big over Chicago Cubs? Is that who's second?
I think so. Yeah, we'll look up. I'm sorry I didn't have the standings up there, but yeah, they've been tough, and they're one of those teams that they have to. They're going to have to do something with some pitching because they've had some injuries. Woodruff's out for the year, as he usually is at some point, and they've got just a bunch of good young guys. Yeah,
but you see, if they have a big lead like that, you can baby a guy like Mizorowski and have him come along and be able to withstand whatever circumstances are going to happen because he is still a kid. And even though he's been around now for about a year and a half in the Major League Baseball, 2 years going on, he still has to learn to pace himself and do that sort of thing. When you have a big lead like the Brewers have, that's going to help out.
Freddie Peralta made his return to Milwaukee last night. He has been awful.
And there is a report that he could be on the market to come back to Milwaukee.
Well, I tell you, he's got a 5.01 ERA now in the year. With the money they paid to bring him in, he last night allows 8 hits, 7 runs, and 5 1/3. We mentioned 5.01 ERA now. That's not what the Mets paid for. Of course, they should have kept the receipts on a lot of their purchases this year, see if they could return them because it hasn't gone well. Springfield Cardinals back in action tonight down in Springdale. They open the series with the Northwest Arkansas Naturals. Cardinals open the week on top of the Texas League North second half standings at 13-8, 1 game ahead of Tulsa. Northwest Arkansas is third in the division at 9-12. And so a matchup between the Cardinals and Royals affiliates all this week down in Springdale.
Take a break?
Yep, let's take a break.
We will take a timeout on the starting lineup. Special guest coming up. Don't go away. And we very much appreciate you being with us on the starting lineup, brought to you by Play It Again Sports, by Swing Right Golf, by Citizens Bank of Rogersville, and by Marshfield Chevrolet. Ned Reynolds with
Scott Puryear.
And a special guest.
Special guest, we're filling Corey Riggs' vacation spot here very well. Had Brandon Hyde on last week to talk about the inner workings of their telecasts, and today we go to the money side of things with Paige Grisham from Missouri State Athletic Development, the Bears Fund. We want to talk all about the upcoming events. Paige, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me, you guys.
You betcha. We love Corey, but this is kind of a pleasant change today. We're going to talk about some things that Corey probably doesn't like to talk about so much, and that's raising money. But you guys, that's what you do, and that's what you got to do. And it's a trying time right now. Kind of give us a lay of the land in athletic development with all the ways people are being tugged and pulled and turned with NIL and everything else. It's a different ballgame.
It's a different ballgame. I've been doing this now for quite a while. This is coming up on 5 years for me at Missouri State in this role, and previously at Drury University. And it gets challenging. Just as the landscape has changed so significantly. We have so many buckets and so many needs, and so much that each and every single one of our programs needs to not only just function, but also just go out and recruit the best student athletes. The introduction of rev share and, donor-driven rev share for us has really changed the game. And so, the needs are definitely there. But also for us, it's some of that more holistic stuff, like, things for our athletic training, or some stuff that we're fundraising for, and things that are holistic, like our nutrition funds and things like that are more that traditional kind of stuff. But yeah, the landscape of college athletics has changed so significantly, as we all know, and especially on the fundraising side.
Paige, the staff of individuals who are involved in that is how many? How many people do you have working?
So it's myself, Carrie Dickerson, and part-time is John Leamy. Y'all probably know him. And that's it. That's our whole athletics development team.
When you see Coach Leamy again, ask him about if he's going to fiddle and diddle this week, because we had him on a couple times to talk World Cup, and we learned a new soccer phrase there. So I don't know if he does that in fundraising or not. But and of course our friend Brent Dunn overseeing the big development picture over there, retiring for I think the 7th time coming up now. He's the Sugar Ray Leonard of athletic or of fundraising. But Paige, I guess a question I have, because of all the things now that you guys need to raise money for, how does a conversation start with donors? I mean, do you pretty much ask them, what do you want to give to, whether it's specific sport or revenue share or, NIL is, do you guys do anything with NIL, or is that the separate entities for each sport now?
We do less with traditional NIL. Most of what we're dealing with are rev share and then raising money for their special projects funds. And so each coach has a special projects funds. That's going to be something that they use for, big travel trips or just program enhancements, and just that kind of that freedom to be able to go, okay, we need to cover this for this year. This is a special thing we're doing for this. This is a piece of equipment we need. And so, when we have those conversations with donors, we're trying to number one, first and foremost, is build those relationships with those people. And that's a huge part of what we do. It's not just hey, I'm going to have lunch with somebody and ask them for money. It's, I want to learn about them. And so many of our great donors are our alumni. And so they have their own stories. And so, it's getting to know them and what makes them feel good about Missouri State, and then connecting them with what is going to be the thing that's most impactful for them. We're completely donor centric. If they want to give to rev share, great, we can talk about those conversations, but we're not going to push them in that heavy direction or another. We're going to do what feels good for them, and just really kind of talk through what kind of impact they want to make, whether that is a traditional scholarship or rev share or whatever that looks like.
How would you break down the percentage of people in terms of they have a specific sport interest versus overall general athletics? Is it 50-50? What would you say? Most of the people you talk to, do they say, hey, I really love women's basketball, I want to give to that? Or are they, I want to help the Bears in general?
I would say it's primarily folks who are tied to a specific program, at least from what I work with. We have a lot of really diehard Lady Bears fans, but also we have a lot of, parents of student athletes, and just so many good connectors and alumni of certain programs. So I would say about 70% are definitely more, central sport focused rather than general. General is usually, from what I found, a little less attractive to the average person. Some people are great of like, hey, and we need those general donations as well. That's a big part too, when we need to upgrade general facilities or do things that are impactful for the whole gamut of our student athletes and our programs, and that's great. But I would say the majority are tied to a specific program for the most part. When
you're dealing with the public like that, Paige, in recent years, how do you find them in terms of their being willing to give?
Is it getting tougher?
Yeah. I wouldn't say so. Honestly, we've had some really great numbers in the last 3 years. We have lots of people, and I think lots of people who are willing to give. It takes a lot of time and effort to really build up those relationships and, get them willing to want to give, et cetera. And so we have a team here. We're housed in the foundation under Brent Dunn, but we have a couple of really great people who work on just research. And so they find donors that are prospective donors, and then we get tasked with going out and talking with those people. And so, through things like our Giving Day and like different smaller campaigns, we're able to identify folks who, might make a $50 gift, but they might have the potential or the affinity to want to do more than that. And so it's about, finding those people and then making that connection with those people. And so it's a very long process. It can be. Sometimes it takes, months or years to even get someone through that pipeline and get them to, give something significant. It's really, really interesting on our side of things. I think, folks look at it as it's, transactional or whatever, and it's not. It's that long-term relationship, and it can take a lot of time to do what we do.
So if Shirley Smith from Hays, Kansas wins the Powerball, who gets first crack at her when you find out she's a Missouri State grad?
Ooh, we're not overly competitive in that way. I mean, we are, but we're not. Yeah. So, it'll be whoever's going to be the right fit for her. But, would I like to have her? Absolutely. But,
there you go. Well, I wanted to ask you, of course, your big event's coming up a week from Saturday, the Sneaker Soiree, the 40th annual. It's been different names, different events, but the theme is still the same. It's the major fundraiser for Missouri State Athletics. Talk about the details, the where and when, and tickets, and just kind of give us the overview of Sneaker Soiree 2026.
Absolutely, and you hit the nail on the head there. It is our 40th anniversary. I've been doing a ton of research and pulling out some old photos and some throwback stuff that we're going to have displayed throughout the event. And so I'm really excited about that. That's been a lot of fun for me. But so it's going to be August the 1st. We're going to be back at Great Southern Bank Arena. Doors are going to open at 5:30. We're going to have food vendors, drinks, etc. Silent auction. You can bid on upstairs in the concourse. And then starting around 7:15, 7:30, we're going to move downstairs to the arena floor. We've sold right around 60 tables already, so it's going to be full down there. We're going to do a big live auction. We're going to do some cool stuff for the 40th anniversary, and so it's going to be a really great time. We're really excited. You can get your tickets. They're $35 in advance or $40 at the door, and it's going to be a great time. We're excited for this big anniversary year and to raise some money for our student athletes.
Have you completely filled out the list of auction items yet?
I still have some sitting right in front of me, so I still have some to be entered. It's just like this non-stop process of stuff just comes in, and it's just like, okay, cool, we've got more stuff. That's great. It then creates more work, but I worked on some stuff last night too. But yeah, we've got tons of items. We've got well over 200 items at this point. We do lots of other cool, fun things as well. We always do the shoestring pull where you give us $20 in cash, you pick a random shoestring, and you'll get a gift card of at least $20 or more back to you. And so that's kind of a fun thing. We're going to do a wine toss this year, some mystery wine bidding. And so we've got some really, really nice bottles of wine in my office as well. For now,
anyway, right?
For now. We'll see if they last until the 1st. No.
I think you ought to do a Ned. I was thinking, they got shoestring pull. How about a Ned pull my finger contest? And
that will not work. Will not work.
What are some? Is there an online component to people that can't make it there August 1st? Can they bid online for some of the events?
Absolutely, yeah. We've got a handful of online items as well. We've got some Chiefs tickets. We've got some unique things like we've got a Journey autographed electric guitar that we got from when they were here. We've got some travel experiences. We've got a quarter beef if you need some meat. and just different things that you can enjoy. We've got a trip to Colorado, Palace Casino Resort in Biloxi, a couple of St. Louis Cardinals ticket packages. So there's lots of cool stuff you can bid on online starting on this Friday, and then they will close the night of the auction at 7:30.
And it is August the 1st. Now, you said the doors will open up at 5:30. What kind of a preliminary event? And you mentioned it's a social hour and so forth and so on. But again, the auctioneering will start when?
So the live auction is going to start around 7:15, 7:30, depending on how things are kind of flowing upstairs. But the silent auction opens at 5:30 with our cocktail hour going on. And like I said, you can enjoy lots of food vendors. We've got Bambinos back on board, billiards, Mexican Villa, Domino's, Smoke and Wheels barbecue. We'll have some steak strips and just some different things for you to enjoy, as well as some great desserts as well. So it's a full service kind of experience, and then we'll move downstairs and we'll do our live auction, and we've got several really unique things that we'll have for folks to bid on there.
I see some Broncos Chiefs Monday Night Football tickets on there too on the online catalog. And they can go to the Missouri State website, I guess search for Sneaker Soiree. You've got a link there to the catalog and everything else and tickets, correct?
We do. If you head over to MissouriStateBears.com and then under the Fan Central tab, there's a link for the Sneaker Soiree auction on there, so you can click on that, and then you can buy your tickets there as well as view the catalog. But yeah, lots of NFL experiences in the live auction. We've got a Dallas Cowboys suite experience again this year. They're going to be playing the 49ers for that game, so there's some really neat stuff you won't want to miss out on.
And you're sitting in Jerry's suite right next to him, right? Jerry Jones? Yeah, we're kidding. Wanted to ask you about, of course, one thing you guys do for the alums is you set up trips. And last year had a big group go out to L.A. for the Southern Cal opener. This year they're down at Kyle Field, Texas A&M, the opener. Kind of talk about those packages and what fans can do to get involved with that.
Yeah, great trip last year to Southern California. We had a great time. I had several alumni out for that. But what you can do, if you reach out to me, we can set you up on our ground travel package for Texas A&M. It's $1,000 for two people. It'll get you your hotel stay, your transport while you're down there. We've got an exclusive president's reception at a winery in Bryan, Texas, the night before the game, as well as your game ticket in our section. And so it's really a turnkey experience for anyone thinking about going to Texas A&M. The hotels are very, very, very expensive in College Station. So this is a good deal for folks to come out and not only just have a turnkey experience for us, but just really cheer on the Bears and have that community there together for A&M. So that one's going to be a lot of fun. We've got several folks signed up already, but we do still have a few rooms left in our block. If anyone's interested, to reach out to our team, and we'll get you set up.
A unique experience, to say the very least, because, folks, the crowd at Kyle Field will be about 104,000 people. That's a lot of folks.
And then you've got another trip down to Dallas to the SMU road game, too, another package there.
Yeah, so we're not doing hotel or anything for that one, but we are going to do an alumni and fan gathering right before the game at the Graduate by Hilton, just basically across the street from SMU's campus. And so that one's going to be a lot of fun as well. If you're going to be down in the Dallas area, you can buy tickets in our fan section online on MissouriStateBears.com and go ahead and get your tickets for the game. Come to our event. It's free. Before the SMU game, and just, see the president, see Patrick Ransdell, Brent Dunn, and myself, and that will be a good gathering of folks. And we've got a lot of alumni in Dallas, but anyone else from the Springfield area should absolutely make their way down there.
Paige, before we let you go, I know home games have become a must-see event for fans here. Last year took a big boost with the move to FBS and Conference USA. For alumni, what do you guys do at home games? Where are you set up, and what's the procedure there?
Yeah, so if you haven't heard, we're moving to a new building on campus, which is going to kind of change, I think, in the future, the way that we do some stuff and some events tied to football, et cetera, because that's going to be really exciting. So mark your calendars for homecoming this fall. It's November 15th, I believe. And so that's going to be here right before we know it. So we're going to have lots of opening events for that new building, the Cliff Smart Advancement Center. And so folks, alumni, the community will want to come out to those big opening events. But yeah, for our alumni, we'll have tailgate tents for homecoming, et cetera. There's always a fun time going on in Bearfest Village. So get your tickets, come out and support the Bears. Even if it's once or twice a year, it's really what we need to really bolster our support for Bears football.
Very good, Paige. Sneaker Soiree a week from Saturday, August 1st, Great Southern Bank Arena. Leave those wine bottles alone between now and then, okay?
Oh, no promises, but
Okay.
It'll be great. Thanks for having me, you guys.
You bet. Thank you, Paige.
Paige Grisham, Missouri State University, on the starting lineup. Back in a second.
Back for the final couple minutes of our first hour here on the starting lineup. Ned had to step away for a second. He'll be back with us in the 8 o'clock hour, as will Art Haynes. As we mentioned, going to visit with Liam Keating, the new Springfield News Leader sports writer that's come on board this week. So we'll talk to Liam at 8 and then Trenton Berry at 8:30 in his usual spot as we talk auto racing. I wanted to give a shout-out of thanks to the good folks at Leadstone yesterday, letting me shack up in one of their upstairs banquet rooms and do the show from there. I'm in the Springfield Senior Golf Association, so we play Mondays throughout the Ozarks and played Leadstone yesterday. And I'll tell you, if you're a golfer, it is in the best shape that I've ever seen it, especially for late July with all the heat and humidity we've had. Fairways were immaculate. Greens are rolling great. Just a great course. So big thanks to Philip Drips, the pro down there, and Bill Hassler, the GM. And got to thinking about why are things so good down there, which I think it's one of the best bargains. If you're playing golf in the Branson area, you need to go check Leadstone out. But those two guys have been doing it there for many, many years, and I think the continuity is what makes that such a special facility there. So big shout out to the folks at Leadstone. Wish they'd had air conditioning on the course. Unfortunately, that's not a domed golf course available now. Ned's back with us. Ned, that would be a great concept, wouldn't it? Domed golf courses in the hottest parts of the United States.
Well, you might remember here during the winter that Tiger Woods and I think Rory McIlroy and some others have put together team golf, and that's played indoors.
It is, and you know, it'd be a very large dome to be able to fit. Maybe you could do an 18-hole par 3 course like Johnny's got with cliffhangers down there at Big Cedar. But great time yesterday, and those guys do a great job on putting on tournaments. So kudos to them as well. As I mentioned, second hour coming up, the new news leader sports writer Liam Keating from the Topeka Capital Journal. It was a straight trade of writers with Wyatt Wheeler going to that paper. It just happened a year later with Liam coming this way. And
well, the writer to be named later.
Writer to be named later, and he was named, and he's here. And you know, I'm glad to see that happen. Springfield Daily Citizen and Ryan Collingwood, they do a great job of covering things. It's always good when you got more of us, and I think that's going to be great for sports fans.
Absolutely, every respect.
Let's take our timeout, and we'll visit with all those folks in the second hour.
It is the mid-show timeout on the starting lineup. About a 2 or 3 minute break, and then we'll be back with more coming up.